Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Well, art has no rules. I believe that you will agree with that. I don't know how to paint, I don't know how to draw, but I can still make out something, something with a pencil, with a pen, with a chalk. I don't know how to write verses, I don't know how to write songs, I don't know how to write novels, but I can still write down some pages, maybe some words, maybe some sentences. I don't know how to dance, but I can move my hands and legs. There are no rules. Art has no rules. Everything is acceptable, and that's the beauty of it. We are going to go through the second part of the chapter, Landscape of the Soul, from the book Hornbill, and it talks about outsider art. Getting inside outsider art. When, when French painter Jean Dubuffet mooted the concept of art brut in the 1940s, the art of the untrained visionary was of minority interest. Nobody paid attention when he said, Jean Dubuffet, that outsider art is also a form of art. He was not liked by many. The point was not accepted by many because outsider art or the outsider artist doesn't have that formal training, and it's very different. We'll come to know about it, but let's go through the paragraph first of all. From its almost veiled beginnings, outsider art has gradually become the fastest growing area of interest in contemporary art internationally. So it's basically a contemporary art form. It is not an age old art form like the paintings and cartoons and writing novels and classical dance forms, classical music. You have practical, authentic training to be taken for all these art forms. But outsider art breaks all the rules. This genre is described as the art of those who have no right to be artists, as they have received no formal training, yet show talent and artistic insight. Their works are a stimulating contrast to a lot of mainstream offerings. So let's go through these. These are two creations by Jean Dubuffet, and they are completely unique and stunning, very, very different from the usual forms. And these are the representatives of outsider art. Around the time Dubuffet was propounding his concept, in India, an untutored genius was creating paradise. Years ago, the little patch of jungle that he began clearing to make himself a garden, sculpted with stone and these are outsider art forms. And see, these are all recycled material, waste material, but they are being presented in such a manner that they appear to be something artistic, beautiful. And you just have to, change your point of view. You have to open up your limitations, think outside the box, and then you will realize it is happening, it is real, and it is art. These are all the representatives of outsider art. If you look closely, you will understand that these are all recycled material. These are rulers and buttons and knives. And when you look here, these are all slippers and broken bottle and many other things that are of no use now, but they are being transformed into something else. This also. These are all handles and metal material. Look at all these things. They have been arranged in a manner where you cannot look at them separately, but collectively when they come together, they form something unique. So coming back to Nek Chand, recycled material is known to the world today as the rock garden at Chandigarh. So Nek Chand, the untutored genius, was creating a paradise. He started clearing up the jungle area to create the rock garden. Its 80-year-old creator-director Nek Chand is now hailed as India's biggest contributor to outsider art. The 50th issue, Spring 2000, of Raw Vision A UK based magazine pioneer in outsider art publications, features Nek Chand and his rock garden sculpture Women by the Waterfall on its anniversary issues cover. So this is just a picture actually, but I'll show you the real thing. It's here. We have Nek Chand, the untutored genius. He was indeed the biggest contributor in outsider art as far as India is concerned. So he has created the rock garden with broken crockery, recycled material, and he transformed all these useless things, we call them useless, transformed them into something beyond our imagination, unique, beautiful. And that is why he is being hailed as the flag bearer of raw art in India. The notion of art brut or raw art was of works that were in their raw state as regards cultural and artistic influence. Anything and everything from a tin to a sink to a broken down car could be material for a work of art. Something Nek Chand has taken to dizzying heights, recognizing his art as an outstanding testimony of the difference a single man can make when he lives his dream. The Swiss Commission for UNESCO will be honoring him by way of a European exposition of his works. So Nek Chand was a huge name in outsider art, not only in India but in the world. His creation, the Rock Garden, is stunning, it's different, and it's celebrated, and that's the beauty of it. The 5-month interactive show Realm of Nek Chand, beginning October, will be held at leading museums in Switzerland, Belgium, France, and Italy. The biggest reward is walking through the garden and seeing people enjoy my creation, Nek Chand says. So I think that's what his real reward, that people look at his creation, they are overjoyed, they are elated, inspired, and that makes him happy. This particular part regarding outsider art was written by Brinda Suri for Hindustan Times for the 28th August 2005 edition. So with this we come to know that creativity is experimenting, growing, taking risk, breaking rules, making mistakes, and having fun. The way Nek Chand had. He wanted to live his dream. He wanted to create something like Rock Garden, and he did that. He did not want it for huge recognition all over the world. He wanted to live his dream. And when people look at his dream with curiosity in their eyes and happiness in their heart, that made him happy. So in the end, art enables us to find ourselves and lose ourselves at the same time. This is the core of the entire chapter. When we talked about in the beginning, when we talked about Wu Daozi, he was lost in his creation, but he proved his point that his painting was a real one. We talked about Taoism, that is Shan Shui, that how two different elements, very, very different from each other, are required to complete the landscape. And we have learned about outsider art, that how thinking out of the box can also be celebrated and enjoyed in the world as well as respected. So these were the 3 major parts taken up in the chapter, and with the particular point of views presented in these 3 various parts of the chapter, we come to know that landscape of the soul is about that how what is inside us, inside our souls, come outside in the form of art. So art is nothing but human emotions. So this chapter was completely dedicated to art and the beauty associated with it. After all, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. I believe you have enjoyed the chapter, and I still suggest go through the chapter again so that you can understand it better. With this, let's close it for now. Thank you.